And hello. Nice to see everybody that popped on. We have here. I'm Renee Varnador. This is Soul Portal Journeys, and we're having a moon ceremony today. I'm with my friends Carrie and Bonnie and Annabelle from Australia. Bonnie's from Canada. Carrie's from the United States, and I'm in Mexico right now, even though I'm from the United States. So here we go.
Wow.
We're kind of an international group here today,
Yeah.
so that's always fun.
4 people, 4 countries. Ooh.
4 people, 4 countries. Woohoo! Great, but yeah.
And maybe 4 time zones? Or are
Yeah, well, it could be. Yeah, but definitely Annabelle's in a different time zone. Carrie and I are
Sure.
in the same one. I think Bonnie, you're in Alberta. Is that Central Time?
Yeah, it's mountain time.
Mountain Time. I get
You're Pacific, right?
Yeah, Carrie and I are Pacific. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so what are we doing? What we always do, we're going to sing in the 7 directions, 7. All of us here know the drill, but in case you're joining us live on YouTube and you've never, ever joined us before, I'm going to put up the words for you guys. So let's share the screen really quick. This is what we're doing. Full moon, woohoo! Ceremony. And I'm gonna have this list again of things that we need for the ceremony, but right now we're gonna sing in what we really need. What I really love is bringing in the archangels, because without them, there's nothing. I mean, that's just flat. So here we go. We're bringing in the 7 directions. Now, east for me used to be behind me, but now it's over here. So I get to be over here. So here we go. Spirits of the East, air and inspiration, Archangel Raphael, please come. Spirits of the South, fiery creative spirits, Archangel Michael, please come. Spirits of the West, watering, loving spirits, Archangel Gabriel, please come. Spirits of the North, clearing spirits, Archangel Uriel, please come. Spirits of below, mother of potentiality, Archangel Santa Fun, please come. Spirits of above, for the sky, perspective change, Archangel Raziel, please come. Spirits of within, heart space gives, Archangel Hanael, please come. Okay, so everybody can stay standing because we're going to clear the chakras now. We're just doing 7 of them. If you've been in some of my paid classes, you know that we do 12 and we get really, really down deep dive. But here we're having fun. We're just going to clear the 7 main chakras everybody knows about. So here we go. I'm going to play the harmonium over here. Oh, good. Somebody else showed up. Who is it? Lupe! Yay! Lupe knows what's going on. So here we go, Lupe. I'm clearing the chakras. Okay. Long, Thank you. It feels like we should be doing more chakras, but that's just because I'm used to doing the other way. Okay, so here we go. Notice how you feel every time you do anything. Notice how you feel. Did you notice the archangels showing up? Did you feel them? Did you feel the chakras clearing? It's always good to check out what you're aware of, and that just your awareness just keeps growing. So now we're going to find out. I'm going to pull one group card. We're going to find out where we are on the soul portal map. And I realized something about my creation of the soul portal map when I was in a workshop last week, when you guys got to see Bonnie's amazing video instead of showing up live. It was with Megan Watterson, who wrote the book Mary Magdalene Revealed. And somebody asked the question, well, what's with this red thread that we all put on? And you know, what is this red and white thread business happening? What is this red and white, you know, thing? And so she explained that a lot of times that we're kind of in lead, or we're stuck, or we're in the darkness at the bottom of the tree full of dark leaves. And so there's a lot of, you know, sense of dark. And then boom, it's like something happens and we'll get this flash of white light, and we'll get an illumination, and everything will change, and yet everything will be the same. We think everything will be different, and yet we still get to be human and still deal with our human stuff. At the same time, we also realize our divinity. So we are got 100% human, 100% divine. And as we're getting used to that, we're in this kind of yellow thread place, where it's a liminal space, a space between all the habits that we set up, you know, when we were trying to just survive, and then how to actually live in the spiritual world. So a lot of this is a cycle to help us figure out, okay, well, where are we in this new world, instead of going back to sleep, you know, going back into the dark, you know, saying, okay, I must have been, you know, on something when I had that flash of light. So let me just, or maybe I'm mentally ill. That was my issue, I thought. I went back to sleep. So I had to wake up again and realize, okay, well, I'm not going to go back to sleep again. So what am I going to do? And I just really worked out everything that happens in this liminal space between worlds. And to me, this is the bridge between heaven and earth. And Megan Watterson wrote in my book, when I had her sign it, we were all standing in line having her sign our books, Mary Magdalene Revealed. And what she wrote in it was, be the bridge between heaven and earth. And of course, that's how she defines Mary Magdalene. That was the little quote that she put on the Mary Magdalene card in her Divine Feminine Oracle deck. So that was very interesting. But what happens is eventually all of this yellow turns to red, and we're going through this process called the reddening, and where we are really finding our gifts and how we can move forward into the world with our gifts. More and more and more. I mean, we know we've got gifts. We know we're supposed to give them to the world. We got this big flash of white light. We're wandering around in the yellow going, okay, but who are my people that need to hear this? And, you know, how can I reach them? And what do I really want to be doing, as opposed to what I think I should do? And, you know, what somebody told me to do. And what is it that actually is bringing me joy? What is actually increasing my love volume? And so we go through this reddening process as we're able to move forward and give our gifts. And then once we start giving our gifts, we go through this amazing engoldenment process. So sometimes we do kind of engoldenment meditations where we bring the gold in. If you were in my Mary Magdalene class, you know, a lot of times we bring in the gold as we're looking at the eye of the heart. So anybody have a question about what in the world I'm just talking about? And Diane is here. Yay, Diane. I can't see her. Where are you? Oh my gosh. She's on Zoom somewhere. So let me see if I can pull. Sometimes I can pull down. I see me. I want to see 5 people. There. Okay. All right, there she is. There's Diane. She is here. And I don't see anybody on YouTube. If anybody is on YouTube joining us, please say hi so I can address you and say hi and welcome you in and all of that good stuff. Okay, so I don't see anybody right now, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be there. Okay, so I'm about to pull a card for us today as a group to focus us on the soul portal map, but just kind of got some more clarity on why in the heck I created it in the first place. Okay, so here we go. Oh my gosh, look what we got. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this screen so you guys can see this card really well. Okay, so what do you think this means? Why did we get this today? And the mirror, I changed the setting on Zoom and now I can't direction. So anybody have an idea why we got this card today? Okay, so Annabelle is saying expansion. That's why. Anybody else have an idea? Woohoo! Okay, you want to add to that expansion, Annabelle?
Expansion, potentiality.
Beautiful.
Divine intuition and insight.
Divine intuition and insight. Yeah. So all of this is kind of amazing. This isn't the star Leo, but I am going to be showing you the constellation of Leo because we're going to be talking about the star Regulus today because we're really close. The moon and the sun did of course it's a full moon, so they're at opposite ends of the sky right now, and so they're in what astrologers call an opposition. But what that just really means is that there's a relationship between what's going on in Leo and what's going on in Aquarius. So we had the Aquarius full moon yesterday and we were in Leo yesterday, but today we're not. Today we're in Virgo. The sun's in Virgo today and the moon is in Pisces today. But guess what? They're still in opposition. So we have 97 degrees of the full moon still. So it's kind of interesting. So we have a blue moon, which is interesting. Blue moons, if you have two moons in the same sign in the same month, that's not usual, although there are 13 lunations, so you're going to have a double up somewhere. But we had a 1% moon in Leo, a new moon in Leo, 1%. At the very, very beginning degree, at the beginning of the Leo season. So it was ushering in our Leo sun season, or season of Leo, where we really, if you're paying attention to the energies and what the divine flow is calling you to do, you got some clarity and some illumination on your essence and what you're here to do and who you are and what your gifts are and what you can bring. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm Leo the lion, I'm all that, right? And I'm right, and everybody else is like, oh, So that's kind of the Leo energy, right? But so then you take that Leo energy and you go into Virgo and you go, okay, well, maybe I'm not all that. And maybe I need to listen to what other people are because they're talking about what's right for them. And all I can talk about is what's right for me. And then when you step into Virgo energy, you're talking about serving. And so then you say, okay, so with this big illumination of what my gifts are, how can I use them to serve? What can I do moving forward to learn how to serve? So that's like as we step into Virgo, that's our invitation. And so if we take up that invitation, we're going to get a lot done this month. It's like those detail-oriented Virgo months, and we're just going to be like checking off the list and checking off the things that have been sitting at the bottom of the pile for a while. And
Renee?
So, yeah.
What I got from that card's beautiful, is starlight, star bright. Ooh. And then as Spirit said, it's our time to shine for each of us. And just bring it up. We've been through a lot and it's time for us to shine. That's what I got.
That's great. And that's a perfect message to come away from Leo season with. So you are paying attention during Leo season and you get a Leo message. Woohoo! Diane! Rocking it.
Wonderful.
Anybody else? Okay, so that's what we're focusing on. It is our time to shine. We're all going to shine our light differently. But you know, the world needs help, so it's a good idea that we all do that. And any way you can help other people shine their light, hey, go for it. Awesome. So we've got Bonnie helped us last week do that, which was good, clearing away some stuff and getting some clarity. And it's coming up, Carrie's going to be helping us. So she's going to be using her gifts. So we're good. She's going to be serving. So it's all good. So I'm going to share screen again. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. It looks like this now. I was looking for it, looking some other way. Okay, and so Annabelle said that the card that we got was in potentiality, which makes sense. Because yeah, we are in a transition between signs. We are at the illumination of the full moon, and whatever gifts we got at that illumination, we are now in potentiality, and we're growing and watering the seeds of what's being planted. So that's where we are. We know where we are on the map. Another thing that was really amazing at the Megan Watterson retreat was that, and this is the name of her book so that you guys can see who I'm talking about. This is how to spell her name. This is the book I'm talking about. She is so interesting live because I'm used to seeing her like on Zoom because I didn't join her group until the pandemic, and I was supposed to see her in Glastonbury in 2020 in June, but of course nobody got to go anywhere then. So it was really nice to be able to see her live because she really, really rocks it live. Whereas she's kind of like this on Zoom. She's a person who really uses movement and really is in her body and really is able to communicate. And so she was communicating this whole release of the ego feeling with these infinity signs. She called them infinity signs. Sometimes we call them figure eights. When we do here, when we dance, when we move our hips in figure eights, we move our hands, we move our feet in figure eights. But she was seeing this infinity sign energy as we release triggers and things in our ego, as we release those ego powers on Mary Magdalene's tree. As we release those and move into more love, into more wisdom, it's kind of an opening up of the energy. So this is not what the moon phase looks like. The moon phase is kind of ziggy-zaggy, but it doesn't look like a figure eight. But I put it here just because I thought that was so cool and what she was talking about. And then this is just Marcus Aurelius, who wrote something called Meditations, and I haven't read him, but I just thought that this was so interesting. The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time. So when we have those big flashes of enlightenment, those big white flashes of like, whoa, that rise up from within us, what happens is we start living our lives, and a lot of what we feel gets overwhelmed in time in our daily life. And so bringing into our daily life all of the basic things that we do, just bringing in more and more present into making the tea and in the morning, and doing the practices that we set up for ourselves and to keep us grounded and aware and what we're doing on the planet. Just everybody has their own way of staying in touch with what they're doing and what's going on. So I thought that was very interesting, and calling ourselves, when we get overwhelmed in time, when we start thinking about something in the past or worrying about something in the future, we can do something that Megan Watterson tells us to do, which is to call ourselves back from all times and all places so that we can stay in the present moment, where it's the only moment we can do anything from and be in. So this is the list of things that we're going to need for this ceremony today. So if everybody wants to make sure that they have these, if you have, I put a list out, and so a lot of people collected things already. If you already have your candle, you can get your candle out, and what happens is, just like we were saying in that star card that we pulled, we want to all shine our light as we, yeah, this is cute. This is a new candle. There it is. Okay. So as we all are going to shine our light, we're going to light our candles with that intention of all of us here together shining our light. So I'm going to go ahead and light this for the group. And if you have a candle, you can light your candle for the group, saying, "May all of us shine our light brightly in the world." All right, you've got our candles. Okay, so we've got that. So put your candle somewhere where it's not going to get hurt, and it can just, you know, be there during our ceremony. And then if we want to clear, we've already vocally cleared our chakras, but we want to clear them even more. So sometimes people, you can light sage or light Palo Santo and do a sage stick and go down the chakras, or you can kind of cheat because we're on Zoom and I'm teaching a class. And so for me, it's much easier just to get, this is an aura cleaning spray, and it's got all of these essential herbs in it. So I just like, I'm just going to spray this, and I always spray behind me. So this is good. So do whatever clearing tool. Sometimes the people use selenite crystals to clear, and so that's a good thing to grab if you have that. And let's see who else is here. Yep, Carrie's here. So everybody's here. Everybody's got their stuff. So usually I put a couple drops of sacred water from some sacred place, but I don't have any sacred water today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a Reiki symbol here and think of the name of that. And boom, I just sanctified my water. So you want to make sure that your water is sanctified. We're going to use the water in the ceremony. We're going to drink it. That's like the drinking water. We also have a little tiny bowl for the, we're going to dissolve and release what's not serving us. So at full moons is a time for releasing. During the ceremony, we're going to be working with, you know, rattles if you have them, drums if you have them. If you have a piece of dark chocolate, that's good. But right now we've got our journal for after the ceremony. We're going to write stuff down. But right now we've got 2 sheets of paper, and one of them is just for us to write on the things that we have decided we want to release. Maybe we want to change some of our habits. Maybe we want to, you know, set other things. Maybe we want to release stepping into hubris all the time, or stepping into ego, or maybe we had too much lion energy and we thought we were right about everything during Leo season. Maybe we fought with people. So whatever it is that we want to release, and we still get triggered with anger, if we still want to go into repression and hide when we should be confronting, you know, what is it that we want to release? What energies is there? Whatever stuck. So I'm writing down for me, stuck feet. So my feet, I've got some issues with my feet, and I'm still kind of exploring, but it's a deep dive for me to figure out what's going on with my stuck feet. So I'm releasing that energy of stuckness, and I'm looking forward really to this Virgo energy of groundedness. This earth energy, Virgo's an earth sign, and so there's more earth energy and there's more sense of groundedness more sense of integration, more sense of being in the body, which is good, which is going to be good for me. So I'm writing down anything else. I put down stuck feet. Let's see what else. Resistance to learning about computers. Yeah, I'm sure my husband would love me to write that down. So let me do that. Okay, so that's it. And I already know what my first step out of that, after releasing that's going to be. I'm going to learn my, I have a solar fire astrology software that I haven't fully learned how to use. I sort of know how to use it, but I used it with Lupe. How do you, right, Lupe? So it's just like, I mean, when I gave a couple different people astrology readings. And so those of you that show up to my class and want a free astrology reading, let me know and we'll get you set up.
I totally recommend it. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Lupe.
I love it.
Okay, so I wrote down my stuff, and so did everybody get a chance? Does everybody, so I can see a couple of people still working on it. Let's see if there's another one that I want to write down to get rid of. I'm kinder to my cat now. I'm so grateful. I worked with a pet psychic, and you may know her. She, in fact, you do know her because she did one of our classes. She did our Reiki 360. So she helped me work on my relationship with my cat. So that's, I don't, yeah, like my cat loves the new house. And so she doesn't get yelled at all in this house. So that's all good. So that's one thing that I was on my list last month that doesn't need to be on my list this month. That one got cleared, that one got released. So thank you, Brenda Jensen. Okay, what else needs to go? Okay, so we don't need this list anymore. We don't need this anymore. Okay. Okay, if you want to write down something that you do want to bring in more of, I'm writing down grounding in sacred masculine energy. So we know that we all know that divine feminine is rising. We can feel it. We're working with it. And the grounding that we need to help that happen even more is to ground in the sacred masculine. And I hadn't realized until this retreat when Megan Watterson was talking about the grounding of the sacred masculine. And she was talking about Lord Shiva and how Kali dances on Lord Shiva because he is the ground. And then I realized, when we went into a soul voice meditation, and I realized that Lord Brahma is grounding in the same way. He's charged with creating the material universe. And so a lot of people that are creative, that have done theater, that sing, that dance, that move, that write poetry, really connect to the goddess Saraswati, who's the goddess of music and the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. And if you're trying to use the creative arts to create, with knowledge and wisdom, she's a wonderful, wonderful being to work with. And so we've got Lord Brahma and we've got Saraswati rising out of the lotus flower. So that's my new image of rising up out of Lord Brahma's, the grounding of Lord Brahma, up into the center of the 1,000-petaled lotus. So that's a new image that I got on this retreat that I went on last weekend. So anything else that you want? Now I used to think when I went to retreats and I had these big, like, oh, wow, this is great. Yeah, I'm working with, Saraswati now. That can like dissipate unless you work on it every day, at least for me. So I'm making the recommendation that when you get these like amazing realizations, that you continue to work with the images in your realization. So you continue every day. So I'm continuing every day to check in with Saraswati and see and feel, okay, so what's happening with this? I continue to check in with Mary Magdalene's tree, even though I'm not teaching Mary Magdalene right now. I continue to check in with the eye of the heart. I continue to check in with some of the other images, like the figure eights that I've been working with for a long time. So all of these things that continue to feed me, I continue to check in with them and continue to, it's like the seeds that I'm watering. So one of the seeds that I planted was working with the goddess Saraswati. And so I have to water those seeds every day. So every day in my 2 hours of meditation, I don't sit in silence for 2 hours. Some people can. I do different things. I have a list of things that I check in with, and I do all that. So I add that. I get a new thing, I add it to the list. I water those seeds. We'll see what happens. Okay, everybody got their lists. We got 2 lists, things that energies you want to bring in, energies you want to release. So let's make sure there are 2 separate lists. I've got my list of things I want to keep over here. And I'm going to take my list of things I want to release and I'm going to tear it up. So I'm going to tear it into strips. And I'm going to take these little pieces of paper and I'm throwing them in my little bowl of water. And I can already see the ink starting to melt. So I'm pushing now the papers down in the bowl of water so that they're all the paper is starting to soften. So what is happening, okay, now the papers are starting to get mushy. So what's happening is there is a releasing process that's happening because paper went into water and the ink is starting to do its thing. And so there is like a releasing energy now happening with everything that I wrote down on the paper.
So Renee, I missed some because my Wi-Fi disconnected and I couldn't hear what it was. So are we putting what we want to let go goes in that water? Yeah?
Yeah. So I tore up my sheet of things I wanted to release into little strips of paper.
Yeah.
And I put them in the bowl of water. So now I've got a bowl of water that is starting to release all of the words I put in there.
Yeah.
Starting to release. Not only is the ink coming off the paper, but the paper is starting to get soft and mushy. And so there's a whole, releasing process as paper goes into water, as ink starts to interact with the water. So there's like this process of releasing happening right here to what I decided to release. Okay, so we're going to, I think we're going to get up and move. We've got, in a minute, we've got scarves and dance and things like that, and make sure that your scarf and your candle flame are not in the same vicinity. So we're going to do the active part of the ceremony, but I'm going to take us through a meditation because you might have something that you want to add to your list of things you want to keep. So we're going to connect in with the transition that we just had in the sky. And what does the transition that we just had in the sky look like? We are going to take a look at it. So I was giving a astrology reading and somebody saw their chart and they're like, what? Oh my gosh. And then they wanted to see somebody else's chart. So what is kind of interesting is to see what the chart looked like yesterday when we hit the full moon. We had the moon here, over here in the Aries part of the sky, and we had the moon over here in the Leo part of the sky, and we had this line of conjunction. This was 29 degrees, this was 29 degrees. They were both at the ending point, the completion points of these signs. So we had this energy here, which was the full moon energy, where all is illuminated. And so we had that energy, and then this is where all of the rest of the planets were, and we have this big, huge trine in air and a big, huge trine in fire. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that, but just know that today it looks a little different. Let me pull this down a little bit because we're down to one trine. And the trine is, we no longer have a trine meaning this blue triangle right here at 3 points, and all 3 of these points are air signs. So we still have the trine in water, but in air, but we no longer have the trine in fire. And so all the astrologers are hoping that the fires that have been raging, throughout Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Greece, and somewhere else in the world that I can't remember right now, but all of those fires will come under control or stop or work through. So we're looking, more water energy is coming. So we've got now this is an air sign, this is an air sign, this is an air sign. That's why that's a trine. So this is what it looks like today. And now instead of the sun being in Leo, the sun is in Virgo, and the moon is now in Pisces. So it moved, the moon moves really fast. It went, the sun went 1 degree. The moon, because it went like one day, it went 1 degree. The moon is just like zipping through the sky. It already hit 15, 16 degrees already. So but we still have a relationship between the sun and the moon. Okay, so that's that. We can stop sharing that. Okay, so we're gonna take a couple of deep breaths. We're gonna pull energy up from the earth. Pulling energy up from the earth and bringing that energy into the heart, our heart chakra. And now, and exhaling, all of that earth energy is now in our heart chakra. And now we're going to inhale all of those stars that we pulled, the star card we pulled, plus the sun that we just saw move into Virgo, and the moon that we saw just move into Pisces. We're bringing the sun and the moon and those stars down from above and into our heart chakra, and we're exhaling all of that sky energy into our heart chakra. So now as we put our hands on our heart chakra, we feel the mixing. We can feel a figure 8 mixing of the energy of the earth and the energy of the sky, mixing in a figure 8 in the energy of the heart. The heart is the transformational machine within us. The transmuting, transfiguration, resurrection, within us, the rebirthing that happens within us. So we're feeling this synergy between the earth and the sky. And we are the bridge between heaven and earth. And a lot got illuminated during the full moon. And so we can sit and ask ourselves what was being illuminated, because we're still in full moon energy. What is being illuminated? And now we want to ask a very Leo question of what we learned over the last month while we were in Leo. What did we learn about the essence of who we are and what our gifts are? What did we learn about the light that we are shining in this world? What did we learn about our light? And now we can ask our question about the Aquarius moon that we had yesterday. And the Aquarius moon takes into consideration all of humanity and innovations. It's the bigger picture, the eagle eyes. So how can we take our light and cast Aquarius energy on it and ask ourselves, how can I bring my light into serving all of humanity? What's the big picture? And now, since we are transitioning into Earth energy, we're transitioning into Virgo energy. And Virgo the virgin we're not talking about sexual virginity. We're talking about the virgin is a woman or a person who can stand on their own, who is strong and integrated, fully human, fully divine, fully masculine, fully feminine, embracing the divine and the human, embracing the divine feminine, embracing the ground of the sacred masculine. So our feet are moving into this earth. How are our feet moving now onto this ground, this new ground? How are we going to take this light, this big picture, and walk with it? And the moon is currently in Pisces, and Pisces is the planet of dreaming. It is the beautiful planet of music, of poetry. What energy of music can help you as we move forward into this new energy, as we take our gifts and we bring them into the world? What music, what dream can help us? Okay, now we slowly are aware of our feet on the ground beneath us and where we're sitting in the room that we're sitting in. We may want to write in our journal I'm going to start playing the music for the ceremony, and then we're going to transition into the ceremony. If you have drums or you want to dance, if you have a scarf, you can move into that energy of ceremony. But if there's anything that you want to write down about the meditation we just went through, then we're going to do that. I'm going to just quietly play the music right now, and then we can step into a more celebratory energy as that energy can rise into this bringing this community together, holding the lights for all of us.
Too loud.
Too loud. Okay, we can slowly come back when you're ready. Okay, and if you want to write anything down after the movement, if you have new things that you're saying, oh wait, this is also a seed I'm planting that I want to make sure in water, that I want to make sure that gets added to my sacred rituals during the day. We're always updating our sacred rituals because we're always expanding and growing. Okay, so we have, let's see, I'm checking out my little slips of paper, and yep, they're getting really mushy. So I'm stirring them up, and I'm going to ceremoniously throw them out later. But I can feel a lot of that stuff that doesn't, a lot of that hubris that I can get hooked up in. I can feel a lot of it dissolving away. So that's good. And it's good to know what your light is and what you're giving, and that you have something to give. And that's good. Having a big head about it, whatever it is not, in my opinion, in my experience. So let's see, because I always get backlash from that. So if you have anything to update that you want to keep, if you have anything that you want to transmit from your scrap paper that you were thinking about, new things that you wanted and you want to transfer to your journal, you know, what it is that you are, what seeds are you watering between now and the new moon in 2 weeks? We've got a new moon. And this community hopefully can come together at the new moon and we can see how we're doing. And we'll really have our intention, our sense of clearing and our intention. We can take a sip of water, think about our intention, our new intention, our renewed intention. And as we're drinking the water, we're holding on to that intention. And we need help to make this intention happen. I call in 7 archangels. I work with Mary Magdalene. Now I'm working with Saraswati. You don't have to work with any of those, but I'm going to recommend you call in somebody to work with. And as you're bringing them and asking them in, you're engaging in a sense of communion with the guides that you choose to work with. So right now, as we take our dark chocolate, we don't need any intermediaries giving us communion. We have the power to establish union with those guides we want to work with. Okay. Does anybody, it's 2 o'clock, but does anybody want to share anything that they experienced? If anybody has to go ahead and go. It looks like Bonnie needed to go. Thank you so much for coming, Bonnie. Kisses to Bonnie. Anybody else want to share? If you want to share, unmute.
Naya, I need to go. I have an appointment.
Okay. See you later, Luca. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, Carrie.
I got something to share.
Okay.
When you said, we talked about, connecting to your heart and how does it go out into the world? And I pictured that same, symbol in front of me, the Merkaba symbol with the rose in the center that I was given before. And then saw it as this is where the light goes out. This is where all of your energy goes out into the world. And then you asked something about how does it, move out and affect the world. And all of a sudden it said rotate it. And so now I've got the Merkaba rotating in front of me, and that is bringing the energy out into the world. And so now I have like this whole other concept of what that is doing. And then I was like, why couldn't I have been doing this all along? I've known about sacred geometry. I've known about heart light for years. So why does this come? It's like, oh, you had to go what you had to go through in order to be able to apply it now. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So that was a wonderful insight to have.
Beautiful. Yeah, because there's a difference between knowing about something, realizing it in your mind and then being able to actively move forward with the
Thank you.
energy of it. And you are just like so, I mean, oh my gosh, Carrie, it's just like so amazing the way that you've moved things that have been in your head for years into action and into your heart space. It's just been amazing to watch. It's just, I'm in awe. I mean, Carrie is just going to be like, whoa, we're going to be sitting back going, Carrie, oh my God.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, Carrie, I see you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. So I'd like to share. I've had a really big week last week.
Oh, good.
Like huge things happening all at once, all in the same week. I had three big decisions.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good week for decisions.
So first, I enrolled in a course to really get my magic on the market in a way that it's going to show lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
So to get myself organized like really well, clean with a clean message. So then time to put it in place, yeah. But I said yes to that. And then I got invited to write in a book to co-author with Reverend Michael Beckwith.
What?
I know, and John DeMartini, all in the same book.
Oh my gosh, how awesome.
I know. I was like, the energy last week, I was like full of energy. And I had to jump and go and move it. I'm like, can I hold this? Can I hold so much? Can I hold all of that?
Gosh. Oh,
And then,
that's huge.
I know. So that was a Wednesday, then the Thursday, and then the Friday, I sold my house at a really good price. Like, and I'm like, okay, now what am I going to do? How am I going to? And so I've been really thinking about this new moon, what it is I let go of with the old. And really, so there was a lot of attachment to things and to places and to people that I just think I just need to let go of, And so I've been throwing out a lot of things and the old belief that, I'm not capable, it has to go as well. And then to really bring it, so that the old dream made from the ego.
Right.
You really realize the dream, it was made from the ego. It has to go.
Yeah, that's hard.
And to really realize how many pieces are made from the ego. And how do I step into this new dream of empowered service? To be in service from an empowered way. And because there is empathy, compassion with other, and really empowered service, you've got to take charge of things.
Right.
And I was on Zoom with a few friends, and one lady, she was really like, feeling the world so much and people's problem, and she really let it put her down, like she got really depressed about it. And then this other lady in the group, she said, okay, so if your friends break his leg and it's in a really sad situation, you're not going to go and break your leg to help her. You can't help her if you break your leg. You need to shine your light so you help her out of that place. So I thought that was such a good example to really bring this. Okay, I need to shine my light. I need to be empowered to do service in an empowered way. And then all these things are happening, and I'm like, oh my God, is it really happening? So thank you for holding space for me and to hearing me, because and I have to move now, like the house is sold, I have to move. There was quite a lot of grieving over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
For it, a lot of grieving. First, everybody says, oh, you got good money, you must be so happy. And I'm like, it's not about the money, I know the money is there so I can do what I need to do. it's about, and I'm safe and I feel safe, at least on that level, so I can be in action, you know, but it's really the letting go.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing that you identified that you were holding on to an ego-based dream, and it's yeah, and you're going through the process of grieving that and letting that go. I think that is absolutely beautiful that you are that aware of that whole process and that you are able to then know that that's a step that you need to take in order to step into this new door that's opening for you. This is so amazing, Annabelle.
I know, and you know, like, so I've got this course that's going to help me to get my business really ready. So when people want to check me out, I've got things to sell.
Right. You want
Because that's the problem. So if you have your big moment and then everybody check you out, but there's nothing for sale with, you know, there's nothing on offer really.
have nothing to offer them. Yeah.
Then people just move on to the next person. But you know,
Right.
if they're touched by your story and they check you out or whatever, and you have something to offer that they think they can benefit from,
Right.
that is, you know, so I need to be so I'm preparing my business to have some good offer. And so when, you know, when the book comes out and I have quite a big of, you know,
Right.
this kind of people, you're going to have much more leads, you know, and people checking you out. So I have to be prepared, and that's for the new year. So it's like there's no time to, I have no time, you know, basically to go, oh, what am I going to do now? It's like, oh no, I know what I'm doing it. Even I'm moving, I'm still doing the work. And yeah.
Carrie, what do you want to tell Annabelle?
Annabelle, you are a wonderful example of letting go and moving forward. And there's so many things that you have shared, and there's been, you know, so many heartbreaking things, so many heartwarming things, and so many things that show us what is possible when you really step into it, when you really let go. And I love this concept of empowered service. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. You know, I love the way you say, you know, moving from heartbreaking to heartwarming. I love that. And really, you know, and being in action, because this lady, you know, I did some work with them like 3 years ago. And then since then, she's seen me on social media because I keep showing up, I keep doing the work. So she's seen that as well, you know, and she met me. And so basically the man who's publishing, he said, so he had the big stars, they're his friends, you know, like they're all from The Secret. I think they all, you know, were working together for the movie, The Secret, and the book. Anyway, and then he said, I didn't want to go and look for people. I wanted to really find people who walk their talk. And, you know, you were this girlfriend who's in the book, she told about me, and I'm like, am I really invited? Yeah, so
That's awesome.
thank you, Carrie, and thank you, Renee, so much. I am so grateful to both of you. You know, this morning I woke up, I didn't put my alarm, and I woke up and I knew I had to be here because it's been helping me so much to be in that, to come with you, to just be myself, to keep going with the ceremony. And I mean, Renee, I must say, I love your energy, you know, my goodness, you are such a bright light. You are such a bright light. And, you know, whatever, 6 o'clock, it's still early. Like I was awake at 20 to 6. And I'm like, okay, I think I really need to be in that ceremony today. And then you are, oh, it's so nice to be so welcomed. And it's so warm, you know, so you're the heartwarming place for me, really.
Thank you.
And you have been, you know, for a whole year. And I had a miracle moment. So my miracle moment is I order a little it's got crystals, talisman, you know. I saw a girlfriend, her husband makes the talisman, and I said, oh, this is for me. I just knew, you know, I saw it and I said, this is me, I have it. And then that morning, I was doing a ceremony and I picked a card before the ceremony and I picked Mary Magdalene, which I've had these cards for a year, and Mary Magdalene came up and I had this huge embodied moment about Mary Magdalene. And then I was doing a workshop on the goddess, and connecting to the codes of the goddess. And then later on that day, and the card is a crystal and ascended master. And the crystal is aqua aura. And then later on, I got my talisman, and the bottom part of my talisman is aqua aura. And the way it all came together and gave me that power.
Awesome.
It was amazing. And, and that was just what happened. And I got all this energy. And then the week after, all these other things happened I feel like that energy,
Yeah, you got your anchor, you got all of your chakras lined up and with power in each anchor. That's awesome. Okay, there are people that were still live. There are people still talking. If you missed Annabelle talking about the Sacred Rebel last month, it was in July, go back and look in my channel. You click on my name, you'll see every episode I ever did, and you'll see Annabelle talking about the Sacred Rebel, which is the book that she wrote a piece in, and they found it and they want her. So, you never know, people. So, look at that episode if you want to know more about what Annabelle is doing and what she's writing. And it also has her information in. But I want to close out this group right now because, some people are still with me 15 minutes after the hour. So I want to take them I want to tell you guys really quick what we're doing next week so that you can come back. Next week, we are going to be, this is where the star Regulus was in the sign of Leo. I forgot to actually tell you guys that we were going to do this, but we kind of did that.
Yes, we did.
We did that during the meditation. We are in Virgo right now. Venus is trining Saturn right now. So that's another really powerful thing that's happening today. The sun left Leo yesterday. We have a dark moon period for the new moon between September 3rd and 6th. This is a really good time to do a deep dive. We're having a new moon ceremony. There's a new moon in Virgo on the 6th, which happens to be a Monday. So we'll be able to do it right on time, right here at 1 o'clock on the 6th. But what are we doing next week? We are doing everybody that shows up is going to get a mini reading. If you bring a question, if you bring something you're wrestling with or something you need clarity on, we will address that as we go around, giving everybody a mini reading, and then see how everybody's card that they get from this deck of spiritual insights that I created goes into this map of liminals, of how to navigate our liminal space, our spaces in between. So this is what's coming up. We've got special guest, Carrie Anderson, right here doing the energy of crystals. So Carrie, hang out for a second after we close this live session down. And we're going to sing. Just the three of us are going to close this circle out and sing. All right, here we go. In this circle of love, in the circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel unity, love, sweet security. I feel like unity, love, sweet security in this circle of love, in the circle of peace. Thank you, everybody, and subscribe to this channel if you want to continue having moon ceremonies, please give a like to this video. See you guys next week. Love you guys.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Diane.
See you next week. Bye.
Next week. Okay, and I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn this off.